Hey guys, good to see everybody. On this video, we wanted to specifically talk about gear. We get a lot of questions about gear, and you know what really is specific to us is not going to be specific to you. But we did want to show you what we take and give you an idea of why we take it. Not just because it's lightweight, or not because it's a brand name, or not because, you know, people told us to buy it. It's really taken us a lot of years to cultivate that, right?
Exactly. We have gone through a lot of gear that has been recommended to us that has failed for us specifically. So, like Scott said, what may be the best gear may not be the best gear for you.
Right,
so
absolutely.
We are going to kind of show you our basic gear.
We're going to show you our gear, but we're going to tell you why it fits our lifestyle, which is really super important when you are going to go backpacking, whether it's for the weekend, whether it's a long distance trail hike, or you're going to keep this gear for a long time because gear is expensive, right? So I guess the very first thing we're going to talk about is our shelter. So we sleep under an 8x10 Equinox tarp. Equinox tarp. Now that's really important to. It's really important because this is a silk nylon tarp. We used to have a 10x12, and because we have 2 dogs, we have 2 people, it's a pretty big tarp.
Right.
We found that when we were going to different places, it was a little bit harder to fit a 10x12 tarp in certain places.
Into the most ideal setups.
Yeah.
So like the flattest of the ground, that kind of thing.
Right.
It was very challenging to fit a 10x12 with everything that we needed, like the 2 sets of trees, the equal ground.
Right.
Kind of thing.
So we generally love the Equinox tarp, and here's why it fits our lifestyle. Now, it's a silk nylon tarp. It's the same fabric as you're going to find on most of your rain flies and your tents. The reason why we love sleeping under a tarp, and this is important, is because we love connecting with the outdoors. Yeah. And right now, it's raining outside. Well, if we were in a tent, we probably couldn't be shooting this video. But because it's the tarp, we can cook underneath it. We can see the sunrise or the sunsets. We can kind of hear things going around us. If something needs to be attended to, we can jump out of the tarp right away and fix it, which that's happened before.
On multiple occasions. But we also backpack with our dogs. So allowing the dogs to not be cooped up in their environment in a tent if, let's say, rain, wind, snow, any of those elements hinder you from exploring the outdoors and sitting out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why we love. That's why we love being under a tarp, because it gives us that flexibility to be able to breathe. Now, the other thing I would say about the tarp is that I can pitch the tarp in 5 different ways. Yeah. I can pitch it low to block the wind. I can pitch it high like it is right now and have a canopy where I can see everything in front of me. I can pitch it hanging over a tree limb and make it a teepee tent. So there are a lot of different ways I can pitch the tarp depending on what the conditions of Mother Nature are. So that's one of the reasons I like it. Now, the tarp has a lot of limitations to it, okay? I would not bring a tarp on hiking up Mount Washington where, you know, the winds are gusting to 100 miles per hour. The tarp would not work. We've been blown away in a tarp before. I've been on a sandy beach where the winds were gusting at 35 miles per hour, and I was buried in the sand. I was Planet of the Apes when the Statue of Liberty has its hand out. That's pretty much how I was. So the tarp isn't always the ideal for all conditions.
And I mean, it definitely has downsides. Let's say, in the dead heat of summer or the frigid chill of winter. I mean, you're definitely going to be more exposed to the elements, that the bugs, all the things that are the downside per se of being in this very exposed environment.
But we have a homemade bug net that we made when the bugs get really bad. So we just draw another draw line underneath the tarp and hang a bug net, and we're fine. So
And so for me,
And how many
was the
times have we
turning
watched the
point.
sunrise or sunset without getting out of our sleeping bags?
I can't even.
We actually had
3 dozen times.
We even had a deer one time come into the tarp.
Into the
It
tarp.
was really beautiful.
So we've had a lot of any elements that would outweigh us wanting to like run into a tent.
Right.
The benefits
And that's our lifestyle.
of this tarp allow us to gain so much more of why we're even out here in the first place. So a tarp, that's what sold me on a tarp. I've been under a tarp now with Scott ever since for years, and hands down, it opens up your outdoor experience so much more. So
right, yeah, absolutely.
why it works for us.
And it's our lifestyle. Like
yeah.
you know, we're not saying anything about tents or anything like that.
Oh, we have tents
and we have
them
tents
on
and we
multiple
use them
occasions.
absolutely. But for our lifestyle, for our general purpose lifestyle, our tarp probably would go. I would say 90% of all of our backpacking trips that we've gone on, we've probably slept under the tarp.
Yeah.
Not for everybody. We've never had any problems. Never had real issues that put us in any kind of like a worrisome danger, and we have been blown to bits under a tarp before. But
blown and bit to bits.
Yeah, but that's kind of a part of the whole thing is why we do it. The Equinox tarp tent, it's $110, $120, depending on where you buy it. So it's a sil nylon tarp, so it weighs 1 pound, and it's $120. So that's a pretty good deal, and we feel that it fits very nicely in our pack. And I usually carry the tarp when we go backpacking, so Ariana is able to put maybe pocket a little bit more food in there, so it kind of balances out because I love to cook in the backcountry. So it really does balance out. It really does balance out as far as the weight goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our lifestyle, and that's why we chose the tarp. That's why we chose it. Okay, the next thing is like we're going to talk about backpacks because that's like a huge gig when it talks about gear. Which one's the best? There is no best, first of all. There is no best. The best backpack that you will ever buy is the one that fits you and the one that you enjoy when you're going backpacking. That makes sense, right? So, and the fit is everything. What fits Ariane perfectly may not fit me because guess what? I'm a different size. You know, so everybody is proportionally different.
Yeah.
And not one, backpacks say one size fits all. That's not true at all.
Well, it's not just about the size of your backpack and sizing it correctly to your torso length.
Which is really important. Got to do that.
Absolutely. But when you're talking about size, you're saying, what may fit comfortably on me is not necessarily going to fit comfortably on another female, with my exact statistics, like my size, my weight, everything like that.
Right.
So it's about what feels comfortable for you, and the way your body moves with that pack is going to alter from person to person.
Yeah.
And we've noticed that after we've gone through multiple packs in our lifetime.
Yeah, so like to give you an example, I use the Granite Gear Crown 60. I love that pack. Why? Because you can compress that thing. You just compress it all over the place.
It's pretty unbelievable.
And in my lifestyle of backpacking, and what I want as far as a backpack, is I don't want to feel like the pack is on. But I want everything compressed, man. I want to be able to be mobile, fast, light. And I want to be able to go and hit the trail strong. I don't have to want to worry about my backpack feeling heavy or sticking out, a foot off of my back. I love that thing compressed. And the Crown 60 for me does that. Now, Ariana has the Hyperlight.
I do. I have the Hyperlight 3400 Southwest. So after going through a few backpacks that I was very dissatisfied with, specifically my previous one, an Osprey 65 Aerial, I decided to go lightweight. In researching my lightweight options, I settled on Hyperlight. And the reason I chose that was because I liked the simplicity of the design. It was probably one of the more simplistic and basic designs out there for lightweight backpacks that didn't have any additional bells and whistles. The other thing that I liked about it, and the one thing that I was a little on the fence about but now have grown to absolutely love it, is that it doesn't have like an external frame to it in the fact, like some of your lighter ones have a built-in frame, or you have like a front loader. It doesn't have any of that. It is very, very, very simplistic. There's one bar in the center that kind of stabilizes it, but it sits right up to your back, and it is probably the most comfortable thing I've ever put on my back with weight.
Well, you did 300 miles of AT this year.
I did.
So, I mean,
so
if it didn't fit or you didn't like it, you wouldn't have still been using it.
I wouldn't still be using it, exactly.
300 miles will tell you whether your gear is working or not.
So
you can have the best backpack in the world, okay? The best, which I don't even know what that is.
Well, that's debatable.
If you think it's the best, you got to have the
Yeah.
best. But if you don't pack your pack well, if you don't use all of the functions of that backpack, which is the compressionability, or how it compresses in your pack, and that means you have your compression bags inside your backpack. You know, if that all doesn't become one with your backpacking style or your backpack, it's probably not going to work.
Right.
And the nice thing about gear manufacturers is that you'll always be able to return gear that doesn't fit or you don't like it. That's the nice thing about the outdoor industry that you don't get with the regular retail industry, is that, you know, if you buy your Southwest, you don't like it, you can bring it back or you can send it back, and they're happy to return it. Most of the time that we always encourage you to test your gear before you go on a long trip, and I mean become one with your gear, because this gear that we have that we're talking about, it's really our best friend. I mean, we know this gear like the back of our hand. You know, we know what it can do, what it can't do, what the limitations of the gear, when we can bring it, how we can bring it, where we can bring it, and
how much you can pack in it.
And how much you can pack in it. So that's really super important to know about gear. So the next thing we're going to talk about, you guys are probably wondering, do you guys actually sleep on the ground? Yeah, we do. But not fully. So one of the things you can do to save yourself a ton of money is, if you're gonna, whether you're tenting or whether you're tarping like we do, is to buy yourself 2mm plastic that you can buy at any Lowe's or Home Depot or any hardware store. It's really just paint tarp. I go with the 2mm size because it's a little bit more denser. I can put duct tape on the corners, and I can punch a hole through the duct tape, and I can actually anchor my plastic tarp down to the ground in really windy conditions, and it doesn't blow away. So that's our vapor barrier. So we put that on the ground, and then we put our air mattresses on the ground, or our pants, so our sleeping pads. So you like the Nemo, right?
So I I'm still working through whether I love it or I'm gonna ditch it one day. So Nemo Tensor, and I am still on the fence whether I love it or not, but hands down I will say it is still my go-to for winter backpacking. The reason is it has an incredible R value for 4-season camping, and this is the whole reason that I went with it in the first place. I was struggling to find something that was both very, very compactable, extremely lightweight, but also offering me the R value I needed to be able to do winter, like very cold winter backpacking.
So I use the REI Dash, which I don't even think they make anymore. I don't know if REI
has actually updated that Dash to now. I don't know.
Well, it weighs a pound.
Yeah.
I've taken it back to REI several times because the baffles have popped. It's one thing I don't like about it. The one thing I do like about it is that because it's REI, they're going to stand by their product, and I've never had a problem returning it because I use it, and they can obviously see the baffle has popped. So, because I'm a side sleeper. So the REI Dash gives me a little bit more cushion. It is insulated. It probably isn't as warm as Ariane's, but see, you know, the thing is, I'm a warm sleeper. She's a cold sleeper. So it doesn't really affect me as much as it would have affected her. And that's what we're trying to emphasize in this video, is that the gear has got to match your lifestyle. It's not about the best gear. It's the best gear that fits your lifestyle. And everyone's lifestyle is different. Someone sleeps warmer, someone sleeps colder. So the next question people ask us a lot is like, what's the cookware you guys use? What's your cookware? Should I get the pocket rocket? Should I get, well, this is what we do. Totes.
Tokes, hands down.
Hands down.
We have gone
and it's
through.
an alcohol stove that we absolutely love. And the other, of course, things that we do to help really reduce the weight is we go with goose down sleeping bags. I've got a Big Agnes. She's got a Marmot sleeping bag that we absolutely love. The difference between our sleeping bags is that the Big Agnes doesn't have the down on the bottom of the bag. You actually slip your air mattress underneath the bag because their philosophy is a little bit of a European philosophy where all your down and everything should be on top of you, which I'm a side sleeper, so that works for me. And I'm a warm sleeper, so I tend to be a little bit more colder up here. She's got the Marmot. You've been using that Marmot bag forever.
Oh, for years.
It's an 850
Absolutely
goose down bag.
It's rated 20 degrees. It is plenty warm.
We both use 20-degree bags most all season.
Yeah.
Unless it gets below 15 degrees.
Then we're
we
bringing
switch
a
up.
liner.
So that's kind of like our base weight gear. So why we wanted to talk about this and why we wanted to put this video together is because our gear fits our lifestyle.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily fit your lifestyle. So for me to tell you, oh, you should do a tarp, or you should do this, or click on this affiliate link, and I'm just not going to do that. This gear fits our lifestyle. We love being lightweight, but we're not obsessed about being lightweight.
Correct.
Do I want to carry 40 pounds on my back? No. Do I want to carry 20? Yeah. Could I throw a couple extra food items in there, maybe bring it up to 21? Yes, I will. And so that's what we do, and that fits our lifestyle. Do I love looking out in the horizon in the morning under a tarp? Yeah, I do. So that fits my lifestyle. That fits our lifestyle.
And I absolutely love having a simplistic design of just throw what I need in a bag, go and have the major comfort.
And by the way, the other thing about a tarp that I forgot to say, which I do love, when it's pouring rain, all you have to do is stick your pot outside the corner of your tarp and get water.
And well, you could do that
coffee.
In a tent too, but
you can, but I can do it inside my sleeping bag and never get up. So that's kind of like a bonus tarp tip. But that's our lifestyle, okay? The Crown Royal and your Hyperlight, yeah, they're lightweight packs. Mine's not the lightest weight pack, okay? Hers is by far lighter weight if you're going to start measuring ounces. But that's her lifestyle. I love I love how that compresses. That's my lifestyle. The down sleeping bags, we've been using the same down sleeping bags forever. If you take care of your down bags, they're going to last forever.
Very long time.
And so, we go with the 850 fill down bags, the goose down bags. They're very super lightweight, about 2.5 pounds each. The tarp weighs about a pound. Our bags are 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds.
I would say
and our sleeping bags are weight.
95% of the time we are out backpacking, we are with water, at around 20 pounds or lighter.
Yeah,
so,
most of the time.
We can go with a lighter weight pack because, because we have, worked all of our gear towards making it as reduced in terms of lightweight as possible. On very few occasions we will have to switch out our tried and true love of our life gear for something like for extremely long excursion in winter, or hiking in the Grand Canyon where we're having to carry an immense amount of water weight. Those are situations where we will switch out our gear appropriately.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I would say for the most part, this is what we think.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a Hillyberg, Alpine tent, 4-season tent with about 13,
Love it.
guidelines, and that can sustain winds up to 80 miles per hour. That's a tent we would use if we were going to go camping and higher elevations in the wintertime. Absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is that the gear's got to fit your lifestyle. The gear has got to be what you test and you love. And we're going to put the links of the stuff that we talk about underneath our YouTube video, so you can at least take a look at it. We do not make affiliate links like on the Equinox tarp tip. So, that's a given for you guys. So, but go check it out and look at it. And the thing is, I challenge you, specifically about gear, I challenge you to keep an open mind about different gear options. The other thing I would urge you to, for people that are watching this video, test the gear yourself. Get out there. If I ask you, I'm looking for recommendations on a rain jacket, I can get some recommendations, but the very first thing you should do is look at your options. Google it. Look at what people are doing. Go to good quality websites and informative websites that people have experienced that gear. What do they like? What do they don't like? Does it fit your lifestyle? And then go try it. Go try it yourself and see if it fits your lifestyle. I've been using the Marmot Precip for years because I like it as a windbreaker and I like it as a rain jacket. So anyway, hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up and please hit the subscribe button. We really want to spread the word about what we're trying to do and the content we're trying to provide for you guys, and we always love when you guys ask us questions. So please comment if you got some gear questions or anything that we're going to try to go live a little bit more on our YouTube channel. So really super appreciate it, and we will see you on the trail.
In the meantime, do you guys hear this rain?
I know, it's really cool. All right, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.